Hello, YouTubers. Joe and Paul here on Friday, October 11th, 2013 at just after 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, Paul just got home from work from the hotel, and as you might recall from an earlier video, this was sort of like the quality review day, big day, and uh, he has some various accounts of this particular day. Here was Paul.
What? It's pretty much a regular day. You ran around and double checked and made sure everything was good. Gail wanted to know if I'd done this, and this, and this. And I said, hey, it's 8 o'clock. I just walked in the door. But we got a 96 on it.
And that's
that
good.
Was good.
That's good.
We had car bashers back again. Busted windows out of cars again.
Is that what deducted the 4 points?
Who knows? Well, couldn't bend the trash can back of the pool because I caught that before she even got there. Somebody threw away a stack of Penthouse magazines.
Well, if it's in the trash can, how would that?
She would have bitched because the trash can would have been full.
Oh, I see. Oh, no, so she would. The issue wouldn't have been the contents of the trash can. It would have been the general fullness of the trash
can. So I beat her to the trash cans by 8:30, so she couldn't say anything about them.
Well, I imagine given some of the clientele up there, you could have fished out those magazines and distributed them down there in the public areas on the coffee tables and things. That some of the conference rooms. You get the various corporate meetings. These very macho individuals come in there.
This guy from a window company, he rented the room and wanted to set up for a classroom of 10 people. And I don't know what he expected, but he was the only one that was in the room the entire day. Nobody ever showed up. Oh. So finally, he packed his stuff up, started packing his stuff up at 3 o'clock and left.
Well,
and he was supposed to have been there till 6 tonight.
That had to be a very disheartening experience for that man.
So, I don't know if it was supposed to have been employees or the company or whatever, but I didn't see anybody in the room because anytime I'd check in the door, he would be the only one sitting in there by himself. So, and no one come in and ask for him or the rooms.
Well, my heavens.
To get directions, so
that's got to be
a bummer.
That's got to be a hell of a way to make a living. I mean, I'm so grateful that I never had to do that kind of stuff. That's just got to be profoundly.
I just send the sales rep off and nobody shows up.
Yeah, that's just, oh gosh, my son did customer service for a while for a couple of, he sold computers at a local computer store, and then he worked as a customer service rep for a local software company for a couple of years, and it's just that some of that stuff can be just profoundly. Well, people can be real unpleasant sometimes, and needlessly so.
Yeah.
And, well, even when something's going on, you don't need to be unpleasant about it. I mean, you try to,
Well, the guests got robbed. They were pissed off and being bitchy about the whole thing.
They were or were not?
Were not.
Well, I mean, most of them have insurance, I should imagine, but still, it's a tremendous amount of inconvenience. But it's not the hotel's fault.
No.
Well, I mean, assuming that you've got some lighting out there, which I guess you do.
We do.
And stuff like that. So.
But they leave, they'll leave something stupid out
Yes. Well, don't. Yes.
in view.
Don't leave your laptop on the dashboard of your truck. I guess. You know.
Or your cell phone, your GP.
Yeah. Your iPod.
Finder thing.
Your tablet. Your Kindle. Your whatever toy du jour happens to be.
Don't leave a briefcase in sight.
Now, what's this about this F-450?
Oh, that's what one of the people were driving. They're here at the Quarter Horse Conference.
Well, yes, I actually saw an F-450 the other day on the way to church that was configured very much like the crew cab F-350 dually we had there some years back.
Yeah, this is a big white thing. I mean, you'd have to be able to step up like you're going to step onto this kitchen table to get onto the running board to get into it.
Yeah, no, some of them would be quite high.
Dolly.
Well, particularly if it's a 4-wheel drive version of the 450, they're very impressive machines. Now, of course, as we all know, the front end will go out after about the first 3,000 miles, since it's a Ford product.
He's had it a while. It's got the same style tail lights mine do.
Oh my word! So that's an older one. It's not one of the newer. The one I saw was a much newer one. It was probably this last year's model, and
looks like new.
Well, I mean, first 15,000 miles I owned my F-250. It was one of the most wonderful pieces of equipment I have ever interacted with, and then it's like, oh well, new front end, ball joints, new brakes. Oh,
was that the dually?
No, that had a separate issue. That was because I think somebody put, and we all know who it is. Not me, and it's not Paul. It was a buddy of ours that I, in a moment of generosity, lent this truck to, so he and his girlfriend could go over and visit her family in Zanesville, or the Zanesville area, Cambridge, I guess, actually. And, he put gasoline in it. He said he didn't. Well, actually, years later, I heard a confession from his next girlfriend that he had confessed to her that, yes, they had started to put gasoline in it, but then he realized the mistake immediately and then stopped. But of course, once the gasoline's in the tank.
Black snout ringing a bell.
Pardon?
Black snout.
In terms of, no, I don't actually know whether he put the gasoline in the thing or not. It might have been one of these women. Actually, I think both these women went over at the same time. The then girlfriend and then the soon-to-be future girlfriend.
Well, they were all great friends.
Well, yeah. Well, of course. I mean, and I was glad to lend them the truck. I certainly would have thought they had enough sense not to put gasoline in a diesel engine. Particularly when the tank is marked very clearly on the thing, diesel fuel only.
And it even says it on the dash.
Well, it says it says it out there by the tanks too. It had two tanks. They had two tanks. Separate cabs. So, well, anyway, that truck died. Well, was excised from the inventory around here at 40-some thousand miles because of the persistently leaky, front and back seals. I mean, it was somewhere along the line my seals were dissolving, and so I foresaw lots of trouble down the road. So I traded that boy in on a
brake line seal.
No. That That
Right.
that was the next. That was the next truck. Well, anyway, well, you can talk about these things till the cows come home, and they're ultimately very boring. But I think this F-450 owner's broken window is going to be the least of his problems in some very near future period of time, and it's going to be spelled front end.
Right. The little boy was a competitor in this quarter horse thing.
Oh, okay.
Because they had on a pair of fancy cowboy boots and he was wearing spurs.
Oh, that's interesting.
And nobody else was dressed up like a cowboy except for him.
Now he's a guy. It wouldn't be barrel riding, probably. Well, I know because the barrel riding is usually a sport that the women compete in mostly.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, the men can do it too, I guess. Maybe, of course, the juvenile division, maybe, it's.
He was 10, 11 years old.
Well, it's still, that's considered still juvenile, sort of, It's not like he's out there tossing a rope around a bull or calf or something and, wrestling it to the ground. I don't know, maybe he is. I mean, some of these kids now, they can be,
Tough little shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's about Eddie's size.
Well, Eddie's, I don't know, he's about the average, he's average size. I mean, he's not particularly tall, he's not particularly small. Yeah. Well,
I really don't have any.
no other adventure. Well, there's been no very little adventure up here on my part today, mercifully. So it's another magnificent day here at the Island of Peace. So on that note, I did see. There were about 7 or 8 deer. Well, 7 deer clustered down at the base of our little creek bank. And when I stepped out into the porch, to sort of rest my computer eyes, to try to avoid getting computer eye, and they scampered off and they were chasing each other. I don't think. Well, obviously there wouldn't have been a male there because the male wouldn't have been sleeping with them, and I don't think they've formed a harem quite yet. I mean, sometimes you get kind of like a harem effect here later on, but.
That's usually in the fall.
Yeah, well, it's later in the fall. It hasn't happened yet. We'll see that in November, late November. But so they were running around. Hell, maybe they're just playing. Sometimes they just play. They went over the creek, had a drink.
I thought one day they were standing up and slap boxing with each other.
Yeah, they stomped around. They stomped around in the backwash, which now the creek's down, but it's not as down as like it was there where it was completely dry there in the backwash area. But yeah, they're a little fun.
I'll go down in there and play and
Well,
run around in the water.
Well, they're having some water. Yeah, they're getting to drink water anyway. So, alrighty. I'll say bye-bye now, YouTubers.
Good night.